Oh shit, hey, what's up everyone? Hey, Zwei here, what's good? Today, a little special thing here. It's a collab, you know, collab. First collab in how many fucking years? But let's read out chat first. Flurry, now sneaky. Welcome to the stream, Zwei. What's up? After a long time, I'm glad they're collabing. Hey, we collab every day, okay? Just behind closed doors, okay? We was hanging out, play Mario Kart. What's up? Thanks for coming to the stream. Lime Brander, what's poppin'? Stream just started. Welcome. Come on in. What's up? Taco Almighty, thanks for coming by. What's up? Zwei, hi, hello. Today, we talking about manga, you know? We bring back MAN2漫, the good old one fucking stream I did and never did it again. But this time we got a guest. Who we got here? Garou Nebula. Ooh, my boy. Ooh, my boy. Yeah. What have you been up to lately, Garou? What you been doing?
You know how it is. Just shooting the shit.
Just shooting shit? Ooh.
Shooting shit, working on projects.
Hell yeah.
Making ends meet, you know, on the grind.
Hell yeah. Wait, let me fucking turn off my karaoke filter on my desktop audio so it doesn't like make you sound quiet. Is the desktop, is the fucking background, is the background double? What do you mean? Does it sound double? Oh. Where's the background?
Or, you can share your OBS, I think, probably.
The what? Sorry?
You can stop screen share your OBS in Discord, I think.
Oh, that's true. That is correct. Yeah, I
probably
forgot. It's probably that. Yeah, that's probably that. Hello? Is it better now? Hello, what's up? Oh, how's everyone doing? Oh, it's reverb? You can barely hear Garou. What the fuck? Give me a second.
Turn me up.
Awesome. I think I put you out. Let me put you out. Where the fuck is Discord? Sorry fellas, this is my first collab in a million years. I don't know how to handle other people. Hello. I try speaking, Mr. Garou. How you sound like?
Hello. Test. 1, 2, 3.
Hello.
Testing. Test.
You hear him?
It's good now. Are you sure? Am I better? Should I turn up my game?
Let me
Is
drop
that-
down
is that the
my
issue?
BGM just in case.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
It's good now. Okay,
Also,
epic. Echo S, nice
also-
to see you. Welcome to the stream.
also on your, I didn't notice earlier, but the very tip edge of the of the source capture for my model is like visible.
The what? The very tip?
The very top of the you can see a line, like a black line.
That's the model. That's the fucking camera into the. That's the camera into the mental space. That's how it's working. That's how it's working. Don't fucking say that. Don't you ever say that ever again.
Hey.
Do not say that.
You don't know, man. Sometimes
say that.
I'm just projecting. This could all be a simulation, you know. We don't really know what's going on in
It's
the
like
mental
fucking
plane.
Gantz. It's like the fucking orb. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Let's do that again. Let's do that again. Okay. Mr. Garou Nebula here. Welcome him to the stream. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah,
welcome.
we got our glasses on today. Mr. Garou don't know what are we talking about today. What are we talking about?
Zwei don't know. Today we're going to be talking about the hit one-shot by Tatsuki Fujimoto called "Look Back."
Ooh, look back. This was good. Just to make sure everybody in chat read this before because there will be spoilers of this. Okay, we will be going to spoilers about this because we're gonna talk about it. So if you haven't read it now, and if spoilers bother you, it's just a little warning, okay? But if not, feel free to sit here and listen to us ramble on about this, okay?
That's right. Nothing's off limits.
Nothing's off limits here. There'll be a lot of bullshitting this stream, okay? There'll be a lot of fucking pseudo-intellect bullshit happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, any good old Chainsaw fan knows pseudo-intellectual illusionism is the best part of any Fujimoto Tatsuki work. It's true. It's true. Oh, you finished reading 20 minutes ago? That's great. Okay.
Very nice.
What's this about?
It's fresh in your mind.
Give us a little synapse on what this is about. Not synapse, but a little summary. What's it about, Mr. G?
Oh, sure. I'll give you the good summary here. Okay, so first of all, this story is about 140 pages. It's short, and it's about basically. You want me to just go over the entire story, or just like
yeah, pretty much just go over the thing, but not like a step by step. Just go about the.
Oh,
quick
okay.
one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So basically, it follows this young artist. She's a 4th grader, and she draws a manga strip for her school newspaper. And she meets this other artist who seems to be a little more talented than her. And it's about their journey through their artistic journey through all the trials and tribulations that come along with that, and from their childhood to their adulthood, and how that happens. So that's basically mostly that's pretty much a concise version of what the story's about.
Yeah, it's very like what, despite the content of what it is being a mangaka thing, I think there's actually very, how do I say, I think it speaks deeper than about being manga and more like following a hobby or having something you're interested in. That makes sense. But there's also a lot of commentary on manga, I believe.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's to me, I felt like when I read it, it was pretty much like 140 pages of raw emotion coming from a manga artist who's probably currently working in the industry, and it almost felt a little bit autobiographical, a little bit, because you've got the 2 main characters named one of them's named Fujino, and the other one's name is Kyomoto. And so if you look at their names, they've got a little bit of Fujimoto's name in there. So yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting. So maybe these are the 2 halves of his own artistic personality, right? He's got a little bit of a reclusive side and a little more of a determined, brash side. So, but what parts of the manga did you like that left a good impression on you? Yeah,
impression on me. I think the parts that really stuck to me were like what. So I think it being about 2 characters, the part where they first meet. Also I think what really stuck to me was like when you first see like how she's bragging about how her comic shit is really good. And then you see like the what's her name, Kyomoto. I keep mixing up the names. Kyomoto's like art, right? It's not even like a manga strip. You see like her art just there in the panels, and she gets like totally like disheartened from it. That's pretty memorable.
Yeah. We can put up
we
that
can put
page
that up.
up
Yeah,
on I
think
the
we probably
screen.
should.
Yeah.
Should we do that? Yeah, let me.
Here you go. Here.
We got it. Nice. I think that was a very how do I say, a very notable part of that in my opinion. I think because it's
especially from the build up from prior to that page. She was a bit arrogant. She was a bit like
smug.
she was kind of like the star of the she was smug. She was like the star of the class. Everybody liked her comic strips. But then when this new kid got a page in the school paper, she quickly felt like she was humbled, to say the least. She was humbled. And that sent her on
Here you go.
Oh, you got it on the page?
Yeah, there you go. I hope that's visible enough. Visible enough for everyone. I hope that fucking is blocking us though. This is a mental plane projection. There you go, mental plane projection. Check this out. Yeah. To be honest though, I was kind of like, after seeing this, right, I was very sure. I think I already knew the way the manga was going to go, where it's like where they talk about how manga is it's also about the art, but it's also not just the art. That makes sense. I'm pretty sure that was also how they're trying to go. I don't know if anyone else, I'm pretty sure, like, well, I'm sure everyone saw that as well, to be honest, because it's like you see her comic strips, right? The contents of her comic strips are much more different compared to that of her, how I say, of like Kiyomoto's art.
Yeah.
Because Kiyomoto's art is just the art. It's not really anything about it.
Yeah, it's like background art, but Fujino's stuff is more her writing, her gags. Yeah. That's where the power of her comic strip comes from.
Yeah, we're off now. But I think it was pretty well. Yeah, I think other than that, the other ones that got, I mean, there were a lot of pretty cool things that got my eye in this. I think there was also the the scene where like, where is it? She goes to the bookstore.
Yeah, she immediately rushed to the bookstore. that I can relate to that.
That's actually real, dude. That's actually real. Yeah.
Yeah, as someone who's like on an artistic journey, just like Fujino here. Sometimes when you see someone else drawing like fundamentally and technically better than you kind of get a little inspired to like figure out and learn as fast as you can.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But you could see a little bit of her childish naivety with her searches. She was like, how to get better at art fast.
And then
like,
yeah.
Fast, yeah. And then like she had like this top 5 WikiHow article. It was
like no actual information to it. It was just like fucking like learn anatomy, learn perspective, think in 3D, shit like that.
Yeah.
It's fucking. It wasn't funny, but it's like I could actually like what I think that I also had like a period of time. I think like what because I think one of the main reasons I think you could talk about this manga is because you yourself are a like sort of an art lure as well, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You do a lot of drawings. I thought you could like what's it called, like sympathize with this as well. I think I definitely did as well, where she started drawing a lot in her any time she had any open time, she just started drawing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I did some shit like that as well in like university. So basically any open time I had, I fucking lug this stupid like anatomy book to fucking uni every day. And like any open class, I just fucking lock myself into the library and fucking sit there drawing anatomy bullshit, like copying it from the book. I remember doing that shit so much.
Yeah, I definitely had a phase like that, I'm sure. But yeah, and later on when we get to a little further in the story, when she kind of gets further down her journey, there's another relatable portion to her what do you call it, her artistic sensibility that's pretty interesting to talk about. But so after she starts working on her art, right, she spends the rest of her elementary school years just drawing. But each week she kind of feels disheartened a little bit by Kyomoto's art, and she kind of and then the final one, before she basically just gives up and she's like, oh, I'm never going to be better than this other girl. You could see like a drastic like kind of improvement to her like fundamental art style. But
okay, I think I kind of see where you're going.
Yeah, so you can but then she decides to just quit altogether after in her 6th grade in the 6th grade she basically quit the manga strip before she graduates, and just starts hanging around with her family and hanging out with friends. Yeah, and that's another issue. Just like with anything really, people have all kinds of external pressures that basically influence us to as creators, or anyone really has external pressures on them, people telling you, oh, you should probably do this instead of doing this other
yeah.
thing. And so all of that probably weighed in on Fujino here, and she decided to pretty much just give up at that point. And then what? At the graduation, she her teacher told her to go ahead and deliver her
graduation
Kyomoto's
certificate.
Yeah, the certificate over to Kyomoto.
Yeah,
And she was
yeah.
like, I don't want to do that. Yeah, it's hard to balance. It's hard to balance
It's hard
all
to
that
balance
stuff.
that. But
Sure.
how do I say? I mean, I think I had like a similar thing as well with like what? I think even when I wanted to learn how to draw, so basically I just used to, it's not entirely comparable. Basically, I used to play a lot of Dota. And
Oh,
I
yeah?
realized like I was like playing Dota, and I'd finish playing Dota for like maybe like 4 or 5 hours a day, and I'd be fucking tired. I wouldn't be able to fucking practice drawing. So like I just realized one day like, wait, if I just fucking put this 5 hours of fucking playing Dota to drawing instead, then I'd be able to fucking practice drawing, right? And I just stopped playing Dota. But the thing was that like I didn't play Dota because I enjoyed Dota. I played Dota because it was with friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially I just fucking stopped hanging out with my friends to fucking draw. I kinda get that. I kinda sympathize with that, to be honest.
Yeah, she sacrificed a lot of things
Yeah.
to pursue her art.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
then
yeah.
I guess along the way she felt like maybe it wasn't, she weighed the two things together and she felt like maybe one was more valuable than the other.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
So was there any other really
There's actually a lot. I mean,
interesting
like a lot of the pages really got. I think really they made a lot of sense to me. It's like how do I say? What was it again? I think we just talked about it earlier. We sort of glossed over it, but like it really didn't make sense to me. Like why people are saying like when you should graduate from drawing because it's something childish when you go to middle school. That didn't really make any sense to me.
Yeah,
Can we jump ahead, or should we not jump ahead yet?
Yeah, we can always come back to something
Yeah.
if we feel like, because like just for like the sake of the conversation, so that we
Yeah.
can continue going down a tangent and actually have a discussion on something. Because if we try to like maintain a chronology to everything we're talking about, we're probably gonna forget everything we're
Yeah, I
trying to
forget
figure out.
everything. It's like a
Yeah.
lot. I think like the ones that really got me were like what the dancing in the rain scene. That was really good. I think as well.
Oh,
as,
yeah,
like,
yeah. Oh, that was pretty much basically the next thing.
Oh, that's the
in
thing
the
you talk
story.
about.
No. I mean, in like chronology, is basically
Chronology,
we
yeah,
get
yeah.
into that too. But yeah, go ahead.
And then I think like that looked really cool as well. And sort of seeing like I think you see a lot from her character from that. If that makes any sense. Because you kind of see like she drops drawing as though it doesn't matter anything, it doesn't mean a lot to her. In the
Yeah.
manga, but it comes up to like like she meets Kyomoto, and Kyomoto's like, oh, I really enjoy your comic strips. Why'd you stop drawing stuff like that? Why'd you stop making them?
Yeah.
And then I think you see like just from that, just from one person appreciating it, you see how happy she is about that, and she just starts it again. Like she pursues it 100% from then on.
Mhm.
So I thought
Yeah,
that was
that-
something really interesting how much she actually cares about it. I thought that was really good for that. Also, I think it's a bit reflected as well in sort of like how do I say? So there's like sort of alternate ending, right? Remember in the end?
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
alternate
yeah.
ending where like she does karate instead. She like entirely quits drawing.
Yeah,
Does-
she entirely
does
quits
karate,
drawing.
right? And
Yeah.
she's in the hospital stretcher after saving Kyomoto.
Mhm.
And basically she's like they find out who they are, right? They're like, oh, now we meet each other, right? Like a better time. That makes sense. And she asked her, oh, why'd you stop drawing this time? And she said, like, oh, I started drawing again.
Yeah.
So I thought it's sort of mirrored there as well. I think the sort of idea is that no matter what, she would have gone back to drawing. And as well, it's like if it's something you really enjoy doing, you can always come back to it.
That's true. Yeah, I can relate to that a bit. I definitely had some spells in my own art career where I just kind of just stopped doing it because I wanted to focus on other things, and I always come back to it. It's just you always come back to stuff that you enjoy doing, especially if it means a lot to you. Just like
Yeah.
Fujimoto, like you're saying. So it makes a lot of sense.
That feeling
And,
that's all you look up to, you give a pop comment. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a good moment. I really like that moment. And
Yeah, it's
that's
good
like a
as hell.
testament to Fujimoto's like writing style there. He had that building up for like the entire portion from just those pages where you could see her back and she was drawing and drawing and drawing. but then at the end she just gave up, right? And then you get that montage of her just doing other things.
Yeah.
And then-
Oh, yeah. I see.
Yeah. And then right at the point up until she meets Kyomoto, she's like sour and bitter, and she's like trying to hide her like her elation to Kyomoto, like looking up to her. And when she was the one looking up to Kyomoto this whole time, she like kind of like played it off like it was just normal. And she was like, "Oh, I'm actually entering this contest."
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
she's
and
saying
then
like,
she-
I was preparing to enter the contest, right?
Yeah,
And then she gets back
yeah.
immediately, and she's like, she hasn't been changed yet. It's still rainy. Like she's still covered
Yeah,
in
she's
rain.
all-
She's wet. And she starts drawing.
Yeah, that was a good page.
Yeah, it's really good.
You could see like her hallway leading up to her room. You could see all the water puddles. from her
Yeah.
Bag and
She's
everything.
got that raw, yeah.
Hmm.
Remember when
Do you
Shirobako
wanna
also addressed that topic? Oh, I see. I haven't checked that Shirobako yet, have you?
I have seen Shirobako, but it's been a very long
It's been a
time.
while. I got a movie, right?
It's been a- yeah, I really ought to revisit Shirobako and watch it again. It's been
Artistic
quite a
competitivity, I
while.
see. I
Yeah.
see. So like you were talking about like what Fujimoto's like writing style. Can you hear a little bit more on that? Because I'm not too like what? I've only read Chainsaw Man.
Oh, you've
I
only
didn't
read
really
Chainsaw-
finish Fire Punch, but I'd like to know what you mean from that.
Oh yeah. I don't have any like super like concrete examples like pages to show at the moment. 'Cause I haven't gone back and scrolled through and collected any pages. But basically his style of writing manga, and you can see this in his other things you mentioned before, is very cinematic, right? And so instead of writing out what the characters are feeling, he kind of just draws their facial expressions out, and then he panels them once against each other, and then you can feel the emotion from those different panels coming together.
That does make sense. Yeah. A lot of it's what's it called? A lot of it's very like I think I mentioned earlier. Like actually maybe I didn't mention the stream yet.
Oh,
So,
perhaps not.
it's alright. Fujimoto's sort of like what his paneling is very cinematic. He plays a lot. His paneling is, I mean it does happen, but usually they only do it in very big action scenes where like sort of continuity is important.
Mhm.
Right, where emphasis on certain action is very important, so they don't really do it in something that's not an action, I think. But Fujimoto's panels are very sort of how I say, they're very cinematic in their aspect. Like the whole scene where she's dancing in the rain, that was back to back, as well as the scenes near the end where like
You should
she's
go up
going
and
home.
You should put the page up on the
Actually I should.
what he's talking about here.
I should bring out the whole page. It's easy to put up. Yeah. This one, the like all the panels leading up to this, they were all sort of led into each other. It was very, very good.
Oh yeah, you can get the skipping part too. Hold on, if I can find it here.
Yeah. Let me get that. Let me see this. Fire Punch didn't
Yeah,
grab
got
you,
it.
something did. You dropped it after 10 chapters? Oh, fair.
Fair
I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Personally, I thought Fire Punch is pretty good, but I can see why people drop it.
Yeah, there's a lot of build up in Fire Punch, and but the payoff is kind of nice. So if you can manage to scrounge yourself through the beginning and get invested in the in Agony's story, then
Fire Punch is a
definitely
lot
be
to it
able
as well, though, to be honest, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's quite long and quite dense.
So this is like what? Okay, I'm gonna put it over chat for a sec. You guys are gonna disappear. I'm gonna cover the whole screen with this, because I'm gonna build the panel thing.
I guess it's worth it to pick it up back up. I don't know. I mean, if you tried it 10 chapters and you didn't feel like it was for you, then maybe not. I mean, it's interesting to read, but if you don't feel like it, you don't have to. I'm not gonna
Force you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say you gotta read or else you're not a real fan or some shit.
Okay, this is kind of confusing, but okay. So basically, it's like this is how the thing is set up. This is kind of goofy looking, but this is how it's set up. So basically, you see how like she's like walking, and eventually it leads into her dancing like this in the rain.
Yeah.
And you see her facial expression just slowly change to that. See how satisfied she is.
Yeah, she's completely like filled with like joy and like happiness.
The build up, there's like a big build up as well. You can see like when she's walking, the rain isn't as heavy, but as she starts like going to the dance, the rain gets worse. It's kind of nice. You see how much catharsis she's got from that, like all the weight to stop her, even in the rain. You see how heavy it is, and she's still dancing. There's
Yeah,
like
catharsis. That's a good way to describe that scene.
there's a lot of
Very-
catharsis in this scene for her. And I think that was a really sort of like really big part of this manga for her.
Yeah,
But I think
Yeah,
it's a
and
really
way-
good part.
yeah, and as I was mentioning before, the way he was writing the scenes leading up to that, you were like kind of like holding your breath. You're like, oh my god, they're gonna meet. What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
And then
It's
finally,
very suspenseful as well because she thinks she's not there.
yeah,
Yeah.
she doesn't even know if she's like even around or if
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
ever gonna even come out and take her thing, her
Yeah, yeah.
certificate. Wow. That's
Awesome.
that's a very good part. It's probably one of my favorite parts in the one shot, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is like what. This is something I thought of, but I don't really know if this is something that was intended. Maybe it's me fucking stretching, but it's like so you see in the scene in the hallway with all like the art books, the sketchbooks.
All the sketchbooks.
Yeah, I thought that was like a way to show like the distance between her and like Kiyomoto.
Oh yeah. Definitely, you can put that up if you want.
Yeah,
Might as well just put it up. for people
yeah,
to
might as
see.
well. Are you gonna get it or should I get? Okay, no, there it is. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll post it.
So I
for you.
thought it was like what, because you can see like there's like a distance. I think like what there's a lot of I think even in what's it called? Even in Chainsaw Man they did something similar, right? Like a hallway to show how far something is.
Yeah, definitely.
We've done it
And
a
like
few
the hallways are like cinematic, like metaphors for like
Yeah.
just showing
Especially
distance.
with all the sketchbooks, I thought it was like, oh, this is like it shows the difference in the artistic skill, I guess. Strictly. Because then
Yeah,
again,
pretty much.
I think overall one thing that is important to note of this manga as well is that drawing and making manga are not the same, and I think this is a distinction they make in the manga quite a lot.
Yeah, You wanna jump to Okay, so they eventually
Bring this up. Let me bring up this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So here it is.
Fly high, Garou high. Hey Alejandro.
Hey Alan, welcome to the stream. So here's the scene. So basically, you see the hallway and all these sketchbooks. So basically, this scene, she looks at the sketchbooks and she realizes how much more she's practiced than her.
Yeah.
And it's very emphasized. It's very emphasized. She walks through the hallway and it's always on the books. But I think it's very cool as well because you see like all these sketchbooks are here and she sees one panel there. And suddenly she's very inspired to draw again. She sees one strip of paper and she's inspired to draw a little comic for her.
Yeah, definitely. Even after she had quit, just seeing all those completed sketchbooks, like the immense amount of sketchbooks, just like it just reminded her that I can draw too. And then she saw a blank little floor coma.
I think that was a very like very smart little artistic moment by Mr. Fujimoto.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very good scene. Let me see if there's. We go.
Oh, we want to talk about
I
the
guess
manga? Talk about the manga thing now. The manga.
Yeah, I
thing?
guess-
Yeah. I think for me, I thought like it was a bit. So I sort of like reading this manga. I was sort of sure, like, well, I was sort of very sure that they're gonna talk about art and like manga itself. That makes sense. Because the way they sort of present it is very different. You see, like, so the sort of content that comes from Kiyomoto and Fujino's like comic strips are entirely different, and that you see that it's very obvious that it's very obvious from, how do I say, what's the name again? I keep mixing up the names because I'm thinking something else. It's very clear from Fujino's comic strips that she focuses more on the content and like jokes and stuff like that, the gags, the sort of like actual content. But you see Kiyomoto's stuff is mainly the art. And early on, it's very it seems to be very focused on the art for some reason. Does that make sense? Because you see her like what she puts a like Fujino puts a lot of emphasis on the art. Look where. Look back. Look back. Look back.
Yeah, over your shoulder.
So basically, in the manga, throughout the whole thing, they're very early on. They're very emphasis on the how do I say, sort of art aspect of it, to the point that Fujino wants to like draw more and stuff like that. But then in the end, you see the very end, right? I guess we can jump to the end and talk about this at the end as well. There's like one line where she says, "Actually, I hate drawing manga."
Yeah,
I
feel
hate
like
drawing manga.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a very good introspective scene. I feel like a lot of people who make things, it feels like there's always those times where you feel like, oh, doing this is like a drag, but then and you feel like, oh, what you're doing is undervalued, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that's how she felt like
Yeah.
throughout the entire time when she was Because like if you remember back when she was in class, when the kids saw Kiyomoto's art and they saw her art, they're like, "Dang,
Yeah, they next to
Kiyomoto's
her
art
art,
is so
she
much
looks
better."
very plain.
Yeah, hers looks like a elementary, like a baby or something, or something. Which was pretty harsh thing to hear when you're like a little kid, to be honest with you. So that probably left like some psychological like residue in her brain or something.
Exactly. Or are you looking back? We're looking back on the good manga, talking about it.
Yeah, we're looking back on the good times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't know if they focus too much on like the artistic aspect of it, but more so like the journey and how there's like not really any shortcut to like getting to where you want to or achieving your dreams, really. And so the story kind of follows those struggles and like these struggles you will eventually come to face when you're working on your passion. And Fujino kind of so maybe we should preface because this manga does like separate itself into like two kinds of parts, right? There's like the first phase
initial
where they're the first phase where they're children, and then after they meet for the first time, then they hit it off, and then they start working together, and they publish like a bunch of one shots and a plenty of different mangas, and they get like awards and stuff. And so that's nice.
I think I could go back to the manga thing and the art thing, because it feels like there's this sort of like not really turning point, but halfway through the manga, it seems like very early on, like I said earlier, they put a lot of emphasis how important art is. It seems like, but actually, when you see when it comes to manga as well, the content is important, because so we know that what's her name? I keep forgetting her name. That's so bad. Is Kiyomoto focuses on the backgrounds, right? Most of the time, it seems like.
Yes.
But early on, it's like it's very like, oh, art's very important. Art's very important. But later on, literally, Kiyomoto's like, oh, I'm going off to art school, and Fujino's like, oh, but I can just leave it to a background. It's okay. I can leave it to assistants. So it seems like at that point, the writing seems to take more importance than the drawing, than the art. So I think they sort of come to a middle ground where it's like early on it's like, well, the art's more important, then the middle ground it's like, oh, actually they both sort of work, and sort of near the end it's sort of like, I think the art's less important, so you can leave it to the assistant, it's the writing that's more important.
Perhaps that's what
I don't really know. That's I feel like something I felt about, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if that was like too much that she meant when she was saying at that point. I feel like she was just really trying to like make sure that she keeps Kiyomoto with her, because
that was as well.
Yeah, she was being a bit dishonest.
She was being a bit mean,
Yeah, she was being a bit blunt and dishonest and brash.
It's inspiring and depressing both,
Yeah, pretty much.
Because like I think we see from there as well, right? She later on she realizes that so basically at one point in the story, when they're doing really well in their manga gets serialized and they sort of move to the city, right? Did they move to the city at that point? Yeah. They both moved up. Did they both?
I think they went to high school, right? And then they were working together throughout high school. Yeah, but we don't have very many details. About their living
it's
situations.
Not clear chronology. It's just sort of you see from like vaguely, oh, high schools made this incredible, wow. So lines like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. We're just given like montages of like different stuff.
Yeah, I mean, she was sad her friend was going away, but I think I think it does show as well where like if you can leave it to assistant, also it does mean like at that point it's not really. You know what I mean? It's clear she's keeping her for her friend and not the art.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But she was keeping up that. That's just her wall. I guess that's just the facade that she's always kept up. She's always had this personality of being like very cold and like very technical with her craft. And she always kept that up around Kiyomoto. Because that's who Kiyomoto saw in her, and so that's how she felt. And even when Kiyomoto like worked up the courage to tell her, I don't want to work on the manga with you because I'm going to go off to art school, she was like timid and kind of, it was like she was talking to her parents or something. It was very like kind of relationship that had like some power dynamics to it, but like
yeah, exactly.
Perhaps we might be digging too far into it. I don't know if it's too much important. I don't know if that's too important because ultimately
she is like a hikikomori though. She's kind of shy of talking anyway, so I guess there's yeah, but I don't really think it's yeah for sure. So yeah, where were we? Talking. What? Sorry.
No, I was just trying to think of where we should go from here because we're like in this tangent. I feel like we explained what we thought about it pretty well.
We thought a lot about it a lot. I guess I mean there's like a lot that we can still think about. I feel like there's.
Oh no, I didn't mean like in totality. I meant like for the next portion. I feel like we elaborated pretty well on
it. Very fast, yeah.
So I guess we can start from like I guess from where Kyomoto gets attacked, right?
Oh
killed
yeah, sure.
At art school.
Yeah.
She gets attacked and killed in art school, right? And then what's her Fujino?
Yeah.
Now I'm forgetting the names too now. Okay, Fujino freaking she's pretty much devastated. She puts her serialized manga on hiatus. She's pretty
but
distraught.
The lead up to that is pretty like what? The lead up is pretty like you see actually like she's left, but Fujino is still sort of like making it, right? You see
right. Yeah, sorry.
It, right? So basically she's like she's well I don't know what you call this in English. In Japanese you say Ishiki Takai. It means like not really smart, but you think a lot, I guess. She's on the fucking balance ball drawing and stuff like that. And like you see. So she gets one manga. She gets like her manga is called Shark Kick, and I think it's very cute.
Yes.
And it's like Shark Kick, and it's like the design is basically Fire Punch. The spine is like a Fire Punch spine basically. It's the same text and it's the same spine. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there's definitely some references to his Fujimoto's past work.
Well, there's
sure.
Like you told me the Chainsaw Man door.
Yeah, definitely. There's the Chainsaw Man door. And we can show those pages. We might as well show.
Might as well. You get them out.
Yeah, I'll grab it here. So
like I was talking about in that scene where like you see her making it. So you see like what the whole progression of each what's it called? Each volume, each tankobon of her manga coming out. So first it starts like volume 1 of like Shark Kick. Then slowly goes from like 1 to like 2, and then 19. And you see even anime gets like confirmed.
Yes, she gets an anime, yeah. And then right when her anime gets announced, the tragedy strikes.
Yeah. So in the next portion, basically what comes out is that like you essentially see like there's been an attack at a it's basically I think there's like a news article and they're saying a man from what's it called? A man with a weapon walked into an art university at Yamagata. I'm pretty sure is what it was. And
Yamagata Prefecture.
And she gets word and immediately calls Kyomoto first, but she gets she doesn't get any response. She calls her mom and she gets a response either, I think. And you find out later it is her who got killed.
Yeah.
Let me dig up that page. But that also a very, I think I might share as well, but that also is a very good panel actually, where she's listening you see like what it's sort of reflected again when she's like seeing her back. You know what I mean? We see her back and she's drawing again, focusing with her manga, the book's out. And then now her sort of like focusing on manga gets broken by life again. It gets broken by Kyomoto initially again, right? Because
pretty much
yeah, I think that initially as well when we see like the thing that changes her first sort of like drawing focus thing is also Kyomoto, because she sees Kyomoto's early on she sees Kyomoto's art again, and that makes her want to give up.
Yeah.
And here again it's because of Kyomoto. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Kyomoto always shakes up her life.
Yeah. Let me get these up. Ooh. So I think it's a very cool sort of mirror to that. I think it's very emotional. See how important she is to her. Where is that one? Blah, 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 blah. Let me save this. It's quite cool. Also, that
Which page were you looking for?
Oh, the one where she's on she's like looking at the TV and she slowly turns to the TV after seeing the hearing the news. I think that was also a very, very intense scene.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then she drops her phone and then sorry, that was
looking back because I can't afford those glasses. Hakase on the stream. What's up? Zwei hi. Got the good old otaku glasses here.
Of course. gotta have the glasses on. Reading glasses.
I think like what Fujimoto's art is really good. Like I said, it's cinematic, but it's also like it does. I think it definitely shows what manga can do over other mediums. That you don't need words for what he's like doing here. Essentially, the art is more than enough.
Pretty much. Yeah, definitely. You can build a lot of suspense with repeated drawings over and over, and then changing them on the last panel there. Pretty
panels basically. So basically, you see here here's her serialized manga comes out as 1, then 2. You see it slowly gets more, and then more and more happens. And apparently there's so much more now. And eventually even gets an anime adaptation. And then after that, that's when they fucking like what? When they see like she's gonna die, she's like what? She hears the news. This is a very, very cool. I think it's really pretty. Let me make sure I'm getting him correct in the correct order for a sec.
Yes. I kind of uploaded them in the wrong order.
I think it was very cool.
But yeah.
The whole sketch, like the whole like, hatching and stuff on her as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
The hatching like makes it look really intense.
Yeah, I like that about his art style. He doesn't really use tones all too much. He uses just straight up hatching. Gives it like a sketchy art style.
I think hatching is, like what? It's perfect for the stuff he does though, because his stuff usually has a very big sort of how I say. There's a big change in temperature all the time. Here it is. It's behind. It's being projected from the mental plane, so it's in front of us right now. So I think like it's
shooting it out from the projector in my head.
Out. So you see like her like working her work, and she slowly turns to the TV. She's distracted, and you see like what? It's not as. You see, it's not as. When you compare it to her face in the panel where she's actually looking, you can see how much more tense it is. And it's very cool, and the expression as well. And there's a little interval where she's sort of looking at the what's it called? She's looking at where you see the news, but then there's another panel where she's just straight up looking at TV, and you can still see the same thing happens with the like heavy like what's it called? The heavy hatching to show like the harsh mood. I think it's very cool, quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the light is basically pretty much like illuminating her face.
Yeah.
And she's still like, her eyes are kind of hazy because she's like in disbelief. She's how could this happen? And I hope nothing happened to. She's still like coming to terms with what she just saw on the news. If this is really real. Yeah, that's with any tragedy that happens. Hard to
accept. Yeah.
It's hard to like accept that maybe someone connected to you might have been involved or anything like that.
Yeah.
God forbid, right?
Yeah.
And so,
but there's also I think the sort of interesting thing about this thing is that like how'd I say? Because basically here we find out, right, that basically the reason Kyomoto wants to go to art school is because she wants to draw better for Fujino.
Yeah,
because we see
I also
like,
think she also wanted to...
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, I also think she wanted to just become a better artist.
I guess because there's that one scene where she sees like the world of like background art or something like that.
Yeah, and then she was like, wow. And that was basically I guess an eye-opening moment for her in her own journey, where she felt like she was doing something for herself, because before she was just inspired by Fujino, right?
Yeah. Oh wait, let me take a look at the Japanese. It might be different actually. Give me a sec.
Yeah, I think there's some differences.
Because
for sure.
when I read it, the context I got was that she wanted to do it for Fujino actually.
Oh.
Give me a sec.
Yeah, that's definitely a talking point too. The translation stuff that gets lost in translation, I guess.
Give me a sec.
So, what do you guys think about looking back? What do you guys think? Feel free to put your thoughts in chat.
Yeah, because okay, so the English one I see here, right, is how do I say? Oh, it's pretty much the same. Yeah, it's pretty much the same because like she does say like if we got our own manga, I'd want it to have super awesome art, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens? She decides to go to art school when they get their own manga.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she does sort of feel that kind of like guilt from that, I think, because like she does feel like because of her getting back to manga, it might have sort of led to her dying.
Yeah. She did blame herself.
That's what I thought, though.
Oh, you were talking about Fujino when she was like saying like, oh, because I took her out of the room, she ended up dying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Got you.
But that's the stream, so hi.
Yeah, that's kind of like her trying to like make sense of the make sense of the whole thing and try and this is part of the grieving process. It's a grief thing.
Yeah.
The way he go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say the way he handled the grief portion was really incredible. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was very good. Yeah, the whole like look back thing as well. The title might come back into that.
Yeah, the title definitely comes back into it. So she sits down and she looks back and she's like, oh, because she started blaming things, right? And she's like kind of blaming herself, and she's kind of angry with the whole situation that she's gotten Kyomoto into and herself as well. And then she starts basically deluding herself into thinking there was what if I was in another world where I never took her out of the room and she's still alive today and maybe we'd still be making manga, we'd still meet. But then when she goes to her, I believe she was in Kyomoto's house, right, at the memorial for her.
Yeah.
And she saw all those sketchbooks, and then she saw another. This is where I was a bit. I guess it's up to interpretation. I feel like she saw a blank sheet for Koma again, and then she drew another comic in her. What she thought Kyomoto would draw about the situation, because I don't think Kyomoto drew that last 4 Koma, the one with with her kicking the
back, right?
Yeah, I don't think she drew that, because how could she have drawn that if she was
right?
It never happened to her yet. So I don't know. I think maybe in her own delusion, in her own grieving, she drew a comic as if Kyomoto had drawn it, and then and that kind of makes sense because she goes in the room, right? Maybe we should show pictures of we should show pictures of what we're talking about.
I'm trying to look for it as well. Okay, I see.
Yeah. Oh shit, sorry, I posted the wrong one. Hold on. My folder with the pages is kind of out of order here. Let's get them in the right order.
I don't know if it's relevant or not though, but to me, obviously it could be like I feel like if Kyomoto were to be was the one who drew it, the art would have been better. That makes sense.
Might have been, but she never drew characters really. She always drew.
Drew background art. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, even if she did, right, and then there was like this existence of like a parallel universe or something that interacted with her, some supernatural thing. It would be interesting too, but like I feel like it loses its like believability. It's it's like realism that it had up until that point. Yeah, so this comic, it says by Kyomoto at the top. I really don't think Kyomoto had drawn it.
The main sort of contention of this is that so basically the scenes that play on this 4 Koma, this 4 panel, are essentially the same scene that plays out in Fujino's sort of delusion of like, oh, what if I did this better sort of thing.
Yeah. In her
see what happens
fantasy.
That like Mr. Garou mentioned earlier, that basically what happens is she goes to the memorial, she goes to the room, and she replays her actions, but the thing she does differently this time is that she tears out the manga that she drew for her, that slipped under her room, that got her out of the room in the first place.
Yeah.
And it sort of led to her not meeting. But I think it's interesting to see that like even if they didn't meet, she still gets attacked.
Yeah, she still gets her.
And still goes to art school. The only difference is that she meets her there instead.
Yeah, I think I think that's just something that people grieving they think about, right? They think about, oh, what if I had done this and this and this and saved them, or what if I was there? What could I have done to not let this happen? And that's just part of the grieving process. You just gotta have those thoughts in order to like come to terms with the whole thing. And she eventually does. At the end of it, when she has that comic, she ends up taping that new comic up on her window, just like how Fujimoto had taped her strips up to her window.
That's true.
So she remembers that she was looking back on the situation, right? She was looking back on the situation with like this hatred and like this blaming, but then she realizes that and then before you get the scene with the with her like hanging up the thing, you get like this little montage of all the moments where they were working together.
I wanted to talk about that as well. That was just nice. I don't think there's anything deep about that, but that's exactly the scene where like she's like, oh, actually I hate drawing manga.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, but then why do you draw manga? And then that scene plays out.
Yeah. She draws it because
she gets to spend time together, so like that.
Yeah, it was something she valued, right? She valued it, and someone else found value in it as well, and that was who she was, in essence, drawing for. She was drawing for
like
people who found value.
Sharing it with her.
Yeah. So, it's basically it's just like, as an art person, right? You can't please everybody, right? And if you try to please everybody with your art, you end up like sacrificing some of your own your own values, and just finding those people that do actually care about what your vision is. That's like the most valuable part of like creating something, right? Finding those people.
I see. I didn't catch it like that actually. I didn't actually catch it like that. It's interesting, but
that's how I understood it. That's just my interpretation of how she came to terms with what had happened, because now Kiyomoto's gone. Basically the one person she felt like valued her work the most, and so now she's going to continue on, I guess, with Kiyomoto's spirit in her mind, I guess, to
I see. Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
I didn't see
it that way at all. Okay, that's actually really interesting. Oh,
yeah, how did you see it?
Oh, I didn't because I guess like for me, I didn't really see that lens also as like a creative thing, people valuing your art. Does that make sense? I thought of it like how do I say the way I thought of it is that no matter like what I think it, how do I say, and so this called creation thing has like a lot of power to it. Does that make sense? And you could definitely you should be making it for someone who appreciates it.
Yeah,
there'll be someone who can be really touched by it.
Yeah,
so always, that's basically this is what I thought of it as.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. The manga had like it had a big like underlying theme of like imposter syndrome kind of thing, where like you feel like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. There's way better people out there that should be getting more attention than me for this thing that I'm doing. And I guess Fujino kind of had a hint of that in her the way she was behaving. And I guess she just needed to find those people that valued her work that way to her, and she and that was basically good enough for her, I think.
That's true. Exactly. It makes sense. As well as like in the end, we do see that her work is sort of valued by everyone else as well. That's
pretty
when
much,
she gets serialized and stuff like that. And we have to notice that it's not exactly because Kiyomoto does leave the duo.
Yep.
It's not exactly Kiyomoto's art that's just keeping it. Does that make sense? It's more like it's actually like Fujino's writing. So it's probably, I think it was kind of interesting. That's basically what I was going back to, saying that maybe it's not the art. It's not always just the art.
Yeah.
The manga is a two-part thing, which is why the duo is so important to them, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely it. And you could also see how they never showed her happy when Kiyomoto had when they split up. They never showed her happy at all. She was always kind of like her eyes glazed over, working.
Yeah.
Producing more volumes, just like clockwork, and she was just kind of just working.
Yeah. It was.
There wasn't any like.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, her soul wasn't there, you know? Her soul wasn't in
There's
it.
no soul.
Yeah, Shark Kick was soulless for a while
Shark Kick
there.
was
So I think the following volumes produced, volume 12 and onwards, will they're gonna have soul in them, I think.
Oh. Do you think it's like what? Do you think it's something of note to see like in the panels where like you can see each volume of Shark Kick increasing? It stops at 11, and there are multiple volumes of 11 there.
Yeah, I think there's some significance to it, but I couldn't figure it. I couldn't figure it out. If you have any ideas about
I don't know.
it,
Just looking at that panel, I just thought maybe like it's just her.
I noticed it
stagnating,
too.
but she's just maybe like it's not. She's gotten to the point where like she doesn't really feel for it.
Yeah, that's what I was
Maybe,
thinking.
but it's kind of like a stretch, I think.
I think our two ideas might be connected there. Perhaps, maybe why did she have so many volumes of 11? Maybe she wasn't proud of 11. I don't know.
Because like I think like you see like what so we see all the volumes together. I mean we see it once. We do see it once before it happens, before the anime. We see this anime what's that word? Anime
adaptation
announced. Yeah, adaptation announced. We see like 3 volumes of 11, right? But only
Yeah.
after the anime announced stuff we see like we
Like
actually see how many
several.
11s there are.
Yeah.
And it's
I
quite
don't
sad in
know.
the manga industry that once you got like an anime adaptation, it's sort of like the dream, the sort of the end point. Not really end point, but you know what I mean. It's like sort of like a medal of
Yeah.
honor.
You made it. Yeah, you made it.
So it sort of feels like maybe at that point she's peaking. She feels like she's peaking, I suppose. I don't know.
I guess she hit a plateau there. I don't know.
Yeah. She
Yeah,
stopped
maybe
feeling
perhaps that might be what you're thinking.
it.
Yeah. Then again, I don't know. I mean, this is like it seems like whatever he was trying to say in that scene is something we probably wouldn't get because we don't write manga.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Unfortunately.
it's a different world for us.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I mean, I feel like the message is still gets through, but at that perhaps there are certain things because like I remember when the thing came out. It came out back in July of this year. A lot of mangakas tweeted about it. They were like, "Wow, this is so good. This captures the mangaka experience pretty well, or the artist experience pretty well." There was like even Asano Inyo tweeted about it. The Ryohei, I believe. The guy who wrote Durara and a couple other things wrote about it. The Blue Period guy even tweeted about it too, I think. I know you're a fan of Blue Period.
Blue Period. Yeah. I've been reading that again. Actually, I'm gonna do a MAN2漫for that. That'd be cool.
I've been procrastinating on Blue Period. I really want to get started in reading, but I just
Blue Period is really good. Blue Period is really, really good. It's like what I think it's sort of similar to this as well. Where like I mean, this is sort of the opposite thing. So it elicits different emotions. But I think Blue Period. I think one of the coolest thing about Blue Period is that like the way it sort of approaches its sort of subject content, which is sort of pursuit of something you like.
Yeah.
It's not in any way made niche by its main medium of art. Does that make sense? It's not like you can sort of like still understand this applies to any form of like pursuit of any hobby.
Yeah. Okay, I get what you
All
mean.
of it
There's
applies.
overarching-
It's not locked out. Anyway, there's no sort of
theme,
niche to it. It all applies to it.
Yeah, and you can probably say the same thing about looking back
Yeah,
because it talks about like a bunch of different themes. Really, there's like hikikomori, art journeys, struggles,
Yeah.
imposter syndrome, self-discovery,
Yeah.
grief, delusion, family, peer pressure, all that kind of stuff is encompassed in the story as well. So you can like, even if you're not like an art person or whatever, you can definitely take something away
For sure.
from the story. Yeah, for
I
real.
think it's like a basic like content creator thing. You can sort of get it anyway. It makes sense in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I think one thing I forgot to mention, basically, I'm looking back at the panels now, but at the end, you see when she's actually in she's in Kiyomoto's room, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I think until then, Kiyomoto, Fujino might have thought like Kiyomoto forgot about her. I think, as well.
Oh.
You see in her room, right? You see all like the Shark Kick goods.
Mhm.
And all
Yeah.
there's
Right.
multiple volumes of Shark Kick, and I think it's important to note that like from here you see how important she was to her, and that you see there's multiples of Volume 1,
all the merchandise and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Multiple volume ones. Hold on.
Yeah, there's several volume ones, which essentially is like So basically, basically the way I felt about that was like basically it's like, oh, this is like issue 1. So it's like this is the start. We've made it. We're here. Yeah, it's also like a celebratory volume, so maybe that's why she bought so many. She owns multiples of each one though. She has multiple 1s, multiple 2s, you can see. And here's her being like a very good manga reader. So this is something people neglect to do. So I guess if you're not in Japan, this culture is a bit hard to understand. The survey, yes, the survey. So basically, the survey.
You should put that up on the screen.
Okay, yeah, let me bring that up. Can I save this?
Yeah, I posted for you.
Oh, you did? Okay, thank you. So basically, I don't know if they have it in other countries in Jump or not, but in Japan, when you buy Shonen Jump and all the manga is like serialized in it, there is a survey you put in weekly to talk about which manga was good and why it was good and stuff like that. And actually putting in those surveys is very, very important for the mangaka because it sort of like allows the magazine to see what's going good. It gives them more opportunities. It's something people don't really do. People don't really do it, and that's why because I don't know if there's too much of a need of it nowadays because we have like online analytics and stuff like that. Yeah, so they can like see what's getting the most views and what's getting the most popular. Yeah,
it's kind of streamlined the process, but I feel like the printed one is probably still used. I don't know really. I'm just talking on my ass to be honest with you. I don't really know. Don't quote me on it.
Yeah, so here's the panel where like a shark kick. See, there's multiple volume 1s and volume 2s, the posters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we also see here's the magazine basically. I mean the survey. It's like a little piece of paper that's sandwiched in all Jump magazines, and people don't really do that. It's sort of a pain in the ass. It is something. It's one of those things where it's like I don't know, it's the same thing for VTubers as well. When VTubers ask for like, can I please have like please tell me why you like my content, and no one really says anything. I guess it's the same thing. It's not. I mean, dude, that's why you can see how important Fujino was to Kiyomoto in that like she actually put in the surveys. She actually writes the surveys. I mean, we don't see what the content is. We don't know what the content is, but I'm sure from all the pages around it was clear she's gonna write about Shark Kick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So you can see how important she is to her. And she kept the little like jacket up where she signed up.
Yeah. And then she also had all her yonkoma from elementary
really
school
that's really
taped
nice.
Up on the window there.
And that's where it leads up to the part where like she says it leads to the part where she says she hates drawing manga, and where you see the scenes of her having fun with fight together.
Yeah, definitely. And then she sees the that's right, the coat, the signature. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's so much you could look at and dissect in each of these pages. That's why it's so cool. There's like he doesn't even like need to write any dialogue.
It's very emotional.
Yeah. It all culminates into this like scene here, and it's like, wow, can't believe this.
Yeah. And the thing you mentioned about the grief thing is really true as well, because you see in the end, right? She just gets back up, and we go back to the normal back-facing panels again. And from the usage of the back-facing panels, we really know that's when she's sort of like working. She's on the grind. She's normal. She's normal per se. She's not really feeling happy or anything.
Yeah, she's no longer slumped over. She's got her back straight. She's like walking forward, marching forward.
Yeah. So it's sort of interesting. From there, so we can see she moves on from her grief and she continues working again.
Yeah.
So it ends there. So it's probably she's continuing. So I thought it was like a really, really cool panel. It was really cool. The whole sort of repetition of the back panels are really good in this whole manga. I really liked it.
Definitely, the back when you see Fujino working on her things. I think there's also a difference between the final panel. The way she's sitting, her posture is a bit different too.
I think it's the same. Maybe her head's a little up a bit more, but I don't think it's that different. She's just sitting on the bounce ball.
Yeah, maybe it's not that significant.
It's not. Yeah, I think it's just still there. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. There's also the I guess we should talk about the we can't just we can't do a look back video and not talk about how the title has significance, right? The title is Look Back, but there's a song by the British pop band Oasis called Don't Look Back in Anger, right? And it's very clear the title is the title is inspired by that, as many readers have pointed out. Because like in the very first panel of this one shot, you have like right at the top corner of the chalkboard where the teacher is passing out the paper, there's a "don't" underlined, and then at the very last panel, at the very last page, there's like a book that says "in anger," and so you can definitely tell that there's like a reference to that song about not looking back on the past in anger, like Fujino was doing. She was looking back on herself, blaming herself for all the things, but then she remembered all the good stuff, the reason why she was even doing this thing to begin with.
Yeah.
She remembers the good stuff, and that's what it's all about, right?
Let me get
not
these
look
up.
back in anger.
That's true. That's interesting to put as well. To see like it's sort of the grieving thing as well, I guess, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
It's a sort of similar thing.
It's very
It's just subtle.
grief. Yeah, it's subtle, and it's also very I think poignant in a story that's about grief, right? Because grief is like complex. Everybody goes about it a different way, really, but there are some similarities between people's emotional reactions to things, and so ultimately, if you want to like move past it, you have to think about the good stuff. Can't think about the negative stuff all the time.
Let me get these out. Okay, that's pretty cool. I guess the next we can talk about basically this. Whoa, here. Okay, let me panel these on our faces. Here you go. It's kind of hard
get
to see.
those shiny panels. Yeah.
This is mental projection. So basically, here it is. On the blackboard, it's like don't. And then
in anger.
It's in anger. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't catch that because like I didn't research it. I just read it, to be honest.
gotta think.
Yeah. So like basically we talked about what happened, the manga we've gone through, basically how do I say all the panels and stuff like that. But like, what do you think is like? What are the sort of like some more stretchy things you have about it? Like, what are the themes you think you see? Something like, does it make sense? Any themes and stuff you sort of guess from it? Grief. I think there's something like I think it's a bit of a stretch, but I think we talked about this earlier. I thought it was like a little like metamorphosis thing. I don't really know.
Oh yeah, go ahead and explain that one.
A bit of a stretch. So when
I was interested in hearing this too.
So when they're serializing their one shots, basically, we can see all the one shots are essentially they're not all insect, but they seem to be something and something human. So like you see one is called the cicada humans, and there's another mole boy, and this is Bagram. A lot of them are sort of weird insect things as well. The one that are most clear is anyway. There's one called the C series, and I feel like that is something as well. I think I've seen something. I read something with like that refers to a lot of C series as well. But I can't be too sure. I can't be too sure, so I'm not gonna talk about that. So I felt like there might be a sort of like weird Kafka metamorphosis thing, because the one that's the clearest one we see basically is the cicada human ones. But I guess as well we sort of, how I say, I think this also shows the sort of creative process, maybe how creative they were, because we see the cicada humans thing where they're looking at the cicada, and you see the sea series thing where they're standing in the sea.
Yeah, they were gathering reference for their manga.
So I basically thought it was like maybe a little Kafka thing as well, because Metamorphosis basically spoke about like self-loathing as well, right? And then eventually like accepting it, I guess.
Yeah.
It might be like it might be a two-way thing as well, in that it's like a reverse metamorphosis thing maybe, where it's like her bringing Kyomoto out of her room and her transforming into something where she wants to be something else. Because sort of in Metamorphosis as well, the protagonist wants to lock himself in the room because he's like gross. But this is a bit of a stretch though, just what I thought. It's a bit goofy.
Yeah, that might be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, it's a bit goofy. I don't know.
I mean, it's an interesting thought. I don't think
anybody
anybody
bring anything to Kafka, to be honest.
Yeah, but you can make anything Kafka-esque if you try.
Anything.
Any coming of age story can be Kafka-esque.
Yeah. Any sort of like comparison or hate thing is Kafka-esque, exactly. Yeah, but what do you think? Were there any sort of like weird stretch things you thought? Like any sort of references in? Sort of like, because like we talked about the little manga references as well. It's like a lot of them. Like, were there any more
Yes,
sort of
yeah.
caught?
Oh yeah, definitely. If you guys are familiar with Chainsaw Man, you guys must know about Denji's inner door, the door that
The calf.
which he, the door which Denji should never open. The calf covers. Let me see if I have the page here. So there was a panel in showing Kyomoto in art school, and she was working on her art project, I believe, for her whatever she was doing in art school, and she was painting a picture of the door. It's a bit of a little fan servicey thing. If you're
it's a little fan service.
Chainsaw Man fan.
You're talking about Chainsaw Man fan.
If you're a Chainsaw Man fan, you might get a little rise out of that. Might get a little rise.
If you're a Chainsaw Man fan, you are definitely gonna get razzed in the stream, by the way.
Nothing against Chainsaw Man. I love Chainsaw Man. I love Tatsuki Fujimoto.
I think it's better if I just drop it lower so you can see the door.
Yeah. You can probably crop it if you want.
That's true. So
There's the door.
where she's painting, there's the door.
And then should we put up a Chainsaw Man door too, just for comparison?
So come on, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Get it up.
Okay. I'll get it for you.
So what do you think of the? I mean, I guess other than the little stretchy things we saw, like what's the sort of like? How do you feel the manga? Like, how did you like? What do you think about it? What does it mean to you?
When I first read it, I was like, "Whoa, this is intense." I was like, I had to read it like maybe like 2 times. And I was like, "Dang, okay, this was intense." Because like I felt like I saw a little bit of myself in Fujino, like when she was like drawing a bit. Like when I was younger, I had like maybe a similar situation. People would be like, "Oh, you can draw so good, you can draw these things." But then when I got a little older, people were like, "Oh, you should be drawing stuff. You should be doing this other thing." And then so I was like, "Oh wow, this kind of hit home a little bit." So it was just like, "Oh dang, I feel that." But her determination to keep drawing, even though everybody was telling her some other things, even up until the point where she basically just quit, I could see a little bit of myself in there. So I feel like those portions of the manga resonated the most with me. Very, very much the beginning. And then how this manga seems very personal. Fujimoto, I feel like maybe this might be like he might be channeling a bit of his own experience as an artist into this.
Mental illness of author kind of thing. It's always the case, like authors like mental illness, where it's like, it's always autobiographical. It's always somewhat autobiographical.
Yeah, it's coming from a place of they understand the issue here, and so it's like it's coming from a place of like it's anecdotal. To be honest, I don't know really. I'm not gonna put words in his mouth, but like or their mouth. I'm not gonna like assume anything, but like it feels that way at least, and I can project my thoughts on it. It's my interpretation, right? And so that's how I feel about it. Yeah, those are the doors.
I see. Yeah, those are the doors. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, so when I read it as well, I sort of got the same thing from that. Sort of determination to follow their own hobby and keep doing it. But I think the thing that got me the most is sort of like you know, if you want to get good at something, you gotta do the work.
Of course,
you
yeah.
You gotta sacrifice something. Like where the point where like people saying like, you know, oh, you don't hang out with us anymore. It's like, oh, you should be coming here. I sort of got that as well, because like I mentioned, I did like there's one point I realized like we were like, okay, so if I do really want something, I'm gonna have to make sacrifices.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
There's no
shortcut.
There's no shortcuts.
Yeah. I think the sort of imposter syndrome thing was also like something that made sense to me. That's it. I think it's like
yeah.
It's like
I think it's true.
Yeah, it's like you think you're doing something really good, but then like you see someone else is even better, and you're like, holy shit, I'm a fucking fluke, dude. What the fuck? Give me the fuck out of here, bro.
But then you also have to remember that no matter how much you feel like, my work isn't as good as somebody else, there's probably someone else out there who gets inspired by what you do. If you keep that in your mind, because there's a lot of people who might not tell you what they think about your work, but they might feel inspired by it. So you never know. You can't keep comparing yourself to other people. It's not like they didn't struggle to make that thing they made either. So it's not like they're just willing it into existence one day, and it's like they didn't work hard to make that thing happen either. So it's like
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you gotta put things in perspective.
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing I also saw as well from that was like how would I say, essentially I thought like it was very cool that the way instead of like just like how I say, instead of what does that say, dismissing fucking Kyomoto stuff, she just like she's like, oh, I have to get better, I can get like this, I can't accept that like someone's better at drawing than me. And so see how hungry she is for that. I thought that was very good as well. I can really relate to that, where it's like so you sort of see like she's not as smug as she presents herself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, she's very like she's got vigor, and like she's not
delusional. Like she's like, okay,
yeah,
this person is better than me. She is objectively better than me.
Yeah.
So like I'm gonna fucking do what if like I'm gonna do the real thing. I'm gonna mess with reality and actually get better.
Yeah, for sure. I totally see what you mean.
I can definitely relate to that as well. Where it's like how do I say? It's like you see fucking like someone doing something, right? They'll be doing something, and they're sort of doing better, I guess. And you're like, fuck, okay, I've got to get better somehow as well. And you start like working to it.
Yeah, nose to the grindstone. Just put it in the work, put in the hours. And you could tell she got better, but Kyomoto was also getting better as well.
Yeah.
So like, you can't
it's just like you can't really compare yourself. There's like what there's something you have that they don't.
Probably, yeah.
It was very clear as well. They were doing something different, right? Like I keep saying it. They make it very clear that manga is not just the art.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, you mentioned it a couple times. I feel like, yeah, I see the distinction. The distinction is very clear how they were making it like, oh, one girl's doing the story and the character art, and the other one's doing the backgrounds.
Yeah, it's
and
very
they were
poignant.
splitting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also
very
sort of
clear.
like it's sort of like like the people, like the average person might not really get it, but it feels like someone who's actually who sort of understands it as well might understand your work more.
Yeah, for sure.
I felt like from that as well. So I thought that was a very interesting thing. I really like that sort of like because how do I say? I feel like for stuff like manga and anime especially, there's a lot of focus on it's a very stereotypical type of good art or good style. Does that make sense? That it comes to, and sort of not looking at the context, like the content of it itself.
Yeah, that's true.
Because to manga, there's like a lot that goes to manga as well. Like there's a thing where it's like you can be good at manga, but you can't be good at drawing. I think Mr. One is a good example of that.
Yeah.
Mr. One's really good at paneling though, to be fair, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, his panels are kind of cool.
Mr. One's panels are pretty good. But I don't know if he can't draw, he just doesn't want to draw.
He's a storyteller.
Yeah, he's a storyteller. He just wants to be a storyteller, yeah.
And manga is the vehicle in which he chose to tell his story.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is pretty interesting in that regard. Even then, you can still, even though there's the distinction, right? I feel like there's still like a cultural like movement that puts art probably it's because manga at the end of the day it's a visual medium. So like the art is still going to be able to tell a story.
It's the first thing you would see, yeah.
Yep, it's the first thing you'd see. That's what I was getting at. And there's even like contests that exist where they actually encourage you to just have a manga with no dialogue, no words or anything. There's like I believe, I can't remember at the moment. I believe it was like silent manga contest or something like that.
Oh,
and those exist like international ones. And they have like international submissions and stuff like that. And so they gather up these artists and their manga with like no dialogue or words. They're just telling the picture solely through the story. And it's pretty interesting. And that just goes back to how And I believe one of the guys who won that contest, he said something very interesting. It's always stuck with me. He said that if you want to get good at making manga, what you ought to do is watch a lot of movies. And
yeah.
And I can see what he meant, because like the way a movie tells a story is through the different scenes,
through the framing, each individual frame as well, each cut.
The cinematography, the camera coloring, all that stuff, and that can kind of translate over to manga. And I feel like Tatsuki Fujimoto is really a great example of somebody who
he loves movies. Yes.
Yeah, encompasses film
cinematic sense of like film, because it's very like what his panels, like I said, I've said many times, they're very, very cinematic. They're good at building up suspense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not even the kind of suspense where like, you have to flip the page. It's the kind of suspense where each panel is individually pulling to it closer and closer. So he's very good at that sort of thing, which is very similar to how a movie works as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, and even when they're like, I don't know if it's true or not, but like I feel like when they're making movies, they storyboard stuff out, and those are kind of like comics. Sure. They kind of look like comics. Yeah. So
definitely.
So like manga and movies, there's a little bit of a relationship there of they're like kind of similar, but also different. But vastly different probably. But you can see the similarity between the two, and how some techniques in film can be repurposed in manga and create an interesting kind of a story.
Yeah. But I think as well, like when it comes to, I mean, I've heard this when we talk about like a few things. I think we sit and look at like watch a lot of movies. I definitely get that. One thing I've heard for like illustration is that like you should be taking photos a lot to learn composition.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I can
something I've heard a lot. You should be taking a lot of photos to like learn composition, which is something I have done. So I think it's kind of interesting as well. But I think when it comes to art though, especially for manga, it's like how do I say? I don't. It sounds very pretentious, and it sounds like I'm being a fucking Sakuga bro for sure. Sakuga bro for manga. But the thing is like there is some sort of like what?
The too seinen for my taste.
It is too seinen for my taste. The story out there. It's like what fucking I do think there is a sort of ignorance to the technique used in the art itself. That makes sense. The way they use it to express a certain part of the story, rather than just the sort of how I say raw skill in the art. If that makes sense. Because the usage of the art to portray something is different from like how good the art is. Does that make sense? I mean, it is how good visually it is what I'm saying is different from its usage.
Like the story is trying to tell? Is that what you mean?
Yes, yeah, the panel itself is trying to tell, like how you use the panel, how you use the art, like what is it trying to portray? Is it just like a mass of details for nothing? You know what I mean?
I get what you mean. Yeah, there's some artists that I could probably name like that have that kind of dichotomy where their art is super detailed and impressive technically, but like I'm not entirely certain what they're trying to say with that extravagant like set piece.
Like great.
Yeah, I was thinking great. Yeah, great. He's got some beautiful art, and they all look technically interesting, but like sometimes it's very hard to really understand what he's going for, because he'll draw like this insanely like intricate like beast or like metallic like monster.
Yeah, like faces all over it and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then it's like this. It's really just like supposed to be. I mean, I guess I kind of see it, but it still feels like you have to. It doesn't click immediately. You have to sit there and try and connect the two things together between the panels. It's like I don't know. I feel like if you want it to be like perfect, you want it to like immediately resonate with the reader. That's just my own. Like,
it needs to click to them, sort of like emotionally or something.
Yeah, it has to click with them like on a subconscious level. You have to like relate the two things together.
It goes back to the movie thing, to be honest. The camera thing, where camera angles have like a very different effect on the person's like psychology when they're looking at something. You know, something can look very impressive off the bat, the way depending on how the camera looks.
For sure, I agree. But
the old great thing. I mean, old grades. A lot of old grades sort of designs and artwork is they're just what it is. They're just like how I say, amalgamation of a certain theme most of the time. Where it's like, oh, this is a water thing, so let's put all sorts of water-looking symbols on it. where it's like
Yeah.
let's put fins, let's put crab claws, let's put fucking like a fish head and stuff like that.
Yeah, it
And
makes
you look
sense.
at it, it makes sense, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean a lot.
Yeah, that's what
It is
that's
just,
what
I
I
mean,
was.
at the end of the day, it is just a design thing, so like it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to mean anything. It's just a design thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
fair enough.
I think there's some mangaka where like they pull like a nice sort of like, I mean, like I've talked about this in Berserk before, and I think Miura does very good sort of panel things where he's good at like, taking away stuff from the panel to give focus. So like there's one panel I talked about a lot in the scene in Berserk. I don't know if you probably remember. It's very early on in Berserk when they do it when Guts gets on that sort of carriage place. With the
I
Pope
don't
and
remember.
his daughter.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's been so long since I've seen
no, it's
Berserk.
okay,
I mean,
no.
if you
So
still have it, you can pull it up.
I probably don't have it, but basically,
okay.
what happens is basically Guts,
Yeah.
a little girl on like a little carriage. Guts gets invited to go onto a carriage because it's rainy.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, I shouldn't get on there. There's fucking evil spirits that follow me.
Hmm.
And he gets on, and there are evil spirits that follow him. And basically what happens is like there's like a little girl inside the carriage, and she gets killed.
Oh no.
And her dead body gets possessed by like ghosts. And Guts like cuts down that body. But basically what happens when Guts cuts down the body is that because in this scene, in this panel, Guts is basically surrounded by skeletons and stuff. But when he cuts down the girl, everything else is removed. You see nothing else but Guts, the girl, and some blood. So it's basically Guts, the girl, and some blood on some white screen. And it shows like how sort of like how impactful that was for Guts.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think I have
Okay.
that still. So I might have it, but I don't know how to dig it up. But it was a pretty like I thought it was a really good looking panel, like really sort of unique, smart.
Yeah. It sounds like he was using, from your description, he was using like some negative space.
Yeah, he used it a lot. Like, I mean, it's like there was no background at all to be like in like he was actually in the forest and stuff like that. But in that specific panel, there's just nothing at all. So it's just Guts, the blood, and the sword, and like the girl getting cut up. There's nothing else, just on the white background. Even though it should be in a scene where it's like tons of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the one like result of his action that he felt the most consequence from. Yeah, that makes sense.
Do I even have it? Where is it? It sucks. But I can't remember. I had it somewhere, but I don't have it anymore. It sucks. It's a very good panel. I thought it was very interesting. I could just be like overthinking it, but I do think it was on purpose, a little at least. Oh, it was pretty cool. I really liked it. But I know, I think this like because I think it does speak to here where it's like while Fujino's art isn't the best, she does do like the content is a lot to it. You know, I think it's really smart as well. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like with practice you can overcome like your art not being as technically good.
Yeah. I mean,
you can overcome it.
Everything else that compensates with each other. I think it's how it works.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think that's it. It's pretty good.
I think that's why they teamed up to begin with. That was it made a lot of sense for them to team up. That was very smart of them to do, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. It's really interesting. I don't know. I felt like I don't know. It's probably maybe a stretch, or maybe just how I think. I don't really know. Maybe it's my sort of because I do have like a strong emphasis on how I say on like story stuff. I suppose. Really strong emphasis on that pseudo intellect brain man. So I thought that was very.
You love the story. You're a story man.
Little seinen guy, a little bit of a seinen fella. So I did think like maybe it was a big like I did think a lot on the whole thing. Oh, manga is not all just the art. Is how I thought. Even though like most mangaka tend to just draw their own. I mean there are duos, right? Like we know a lot of duos, but like most mangaka tend to be artists and they're writers as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. It's often like kept a secret though. We don't really know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's like
the
here
reps.
as well. I don't know if you noticed. Maybe did he do it? They have a pseudonym for their duo, which is a Kyo Fujino.
Yes, yeah, they do. They took the two names together.
Yeah. So they don't really know their duo, but I think that's interesting. Okay, I think that's it. I think it was pretty good for today. I think we're good here unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
Yeah. I guess since we talked about how art and the pages are super important and how they look, let's just maybe show our favorite page of the whole
Okay,
thing.
that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, just your last final thoughts on your favorite page.
Okay, let me get this. For me, it's like I really like the here. I don't really have a specific one. It's just like the whole sequence of the ending part where she's going through her memories.
Mhm.
There's something very like raw about it, I guess, if that makes sense.
You don't have like a specific page you want to put up?
I have it. I brought it out like here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's something like it's like very this whole like sequence, but this one I think was very emotional. Of her like smiling.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, that was a good page. That was really.
I think it's like
really,
it's
really
like well, I
beautiful.
think this is literally the first. Is this the first one that she remembers when she wonders why she? Oh yeah, and it's not really the first one. It's her reaction. It's very close.
Metal Parade, right?
Yeah,
Metal
yeah.
Parade. There was also something funny about that. There's a little reference there. In the page that announced that they were the winners of the amateur manga contest.
Yeah.
You could see there was like a little
Get yours.
judge comment. There was a judge. Oh, I didn't put it up.
Oh yeah.
No, I didn't. I was trying to talk about yours. Yeah, there was a little judge comment, and you could see that the judge was Tatsuki Fujimoto himself.
Oh, okay, that's cheeky. Okay, that's very cheeky. I like that.
Yeah, look at this here. If you zoom in, you can see him. He's got his little avatar. One of the judges
his
is
little
on the right.
hair guy.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
there he
interesting.
is. Yeah.
They just
Okay,
straight up
so
say they're a duo. Okay, I see.
yeah.
But just a bit more on that one. I thought like so reading that part when she asked why she does manga, I think that whole sequence of her like just having fun together, I thought it was very like what? It was very emotional, I guess. You really see how like what important she was and their time spent together was for them.
Yeah. She was recalling all the.
Yeah. It's exactly
all the
how
time.
much like how much Kiyomoto's sort of appreciation for her work mattered to her.
Yeah.
Like
That's what
they
basically
zoom in
brought her
on her like,
back.
smiling face. I thought it was a really big deal. Like you see when she's reading the panel before that, she's reading the book, she's reading the script, and she's sort of like unsure, I guess, but she's still reading and thinking. Then she reads it, and she's really happy about it. She really likes it.
Yeah, she was impressed. And that's what she was working for. She was working for that. Because she felt like, Kiyomoto's, her opinion mattered to her the most.
Yeah. So she got
was
the
the one.
catharsis on that. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
She's
really
the one
good.
who she looked up to for so long. So.
Yeah. I know. It's just like what? It's just really. I mean, I keep saying it. It's hard to like summarize, but it's just really emotional. The whole sequence of that.
Okay. For me, I guess my favorite page. My favorite page has got to be. And we talked about it already. The page where she's running through the rain.
Oh, the rain dance. Okay, let me bring it up again. Yeah. That was really good.
That 2-page spread is just like insane. But also, just shortly after that, you don't have to show that one. But the shortly after, you see when she runs into her room and she immediately starts getting to work on her.
Oh, she's wet. Yeah.
Thing. Yeah, she's all wet, and you can see her backpack's just soaking. Her carpet under her desk is all wet, and she's still wet, and she's already immediately drawing the next
Yeah. That was
contest.
good. That was really good.
Yeah.
I bring this up as well.
All the stuff leading up to that was just so good, and you said like catharsis. That's like a great way to describe that moment. That was just so like all the emotions were building up at that moment.
Yeah. They were all tied up. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all tied up in this moment, and then just like that release when she's like, "Oh my goodness, I can draw again. I don't have to like live this life of like putting away my
hobbies." It's like that.
Yeah, and
Because
it can be more than it can be more than a hobby, which she felt like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she felt like that. That was a good. That was a good sequence. I think. between those pages.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, yeah, if we talk about the build-up again, it's gonna lead on again. But to talk about the build-up thing, it was like I don't know why, but as well, it was very clear that she wasn't satisfied in giving it up.
Yeah, of course. No, yeah, she was definitely like, she felt like she was giving up a lot at that moment when she decided to give up.
Yeah,
She wasn't content with it. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's
And it happens to a lot of people. It happens to a lot of people. I know that do like creative things. They just end up just giving up and living a quote unquote normal life, and that's fine and all. But like, it's really inspiring to see someone follow through with it. So that's why I like that page.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's really interesting as well. I thought it was really good. Like she just went through and kept doing the things she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, I think the reason I felt like she wasn't satisfied about it is because like the sort of gap of how much time she spent putting into it, and she just throws it away at 1 second. It's like, yeah. Also, there's that. It's like a little touch, but I don't think it really matters. But like the scene when she asks her mom to throw away her art books, the Yonkoma thing drops off.
Right. Yeah. I think that was totally intentional.
Yeah. So I was like,
Yeah.
Is that
She
something? Is
doesn't-
that like a regret thing? Why she not picked it
Yeah.
up? You know.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's a regret. 100%.
So I think that was very interesting for that. But yeah, I think it was good. So I guess any final thoughts on Look Back? What do you think about it?
I think it's a pretty great one shot. It carries a lot of weight in just 140 pages. It's pretty impressive. It's like testament to this to Tatsuki Fujimoto's his writing ability here. He doesn't just write like crazy action stories. He can write like heartfelt, heart-wrenching kinds of stories.
It's
like
just like normal, like normalcy, just like just normal stuff. There's no like craziness in it. Yeah, exactly.
Apart from
he does show he's a really good storyteller. He does have good brain on him, I think.
Yeah, he's fairly young too, I think. So he's he's like 28 or 29 or something.
I don't know like what he talks about though. He's kind of like what he's kind of wishy-washy in who he is though. I remember reading that he's like so when you buy the tankobons, right, when you buy the volumes, you can see who the author is. There's like a little author note on like the side of like and I think he says he's like a it says like I think in Fire Punch it says he's like a lawyer living in America or some shit.
Yeah, he comes up with these crazy personas. I think he also like role plays on Twitter as like a
his little sister. Yeah. He role plays his little sister. Yeah. He does.
He's quite a character.
I fucking love that. I love that he role plays his little. It's fucking funny.
And reviews like ice cream and stuff.
Yeah. And then he shills the manga as well. Like this is cool. I watch it.
That's awesome.
It's fucking funny. Yeah. I mean, my final thoughts is I thought so. Reading it as well as like so I did get the emotional parts of it, but I think I sort of missed out on the sort of like artist thing to it. I saw it in a different way, but it was very like an emotional story. I felt like how do I say it sort of feels like it's sometimes it's like what is the people you share something with rather than like everyone sorry it's the people who like you share it with rather than the mass recognition.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like what comes after that, because you see like the whole time they spent there's a lot of emphasis put on their sort of time together. Then they have like a whole proper meeting, then they have like growth and stuff like that, then comes the separation, and then it's the reuniting and stuff like that. So I thought there was like a big emphasis on like it's cool and all to like succeed and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but it's also like it's who you share the success with as well that matters, I guess.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
not really success, but like who you share your creation with.
Yeah, not so much success, but more so someone who can understand your creative vision and appreciates that, and that's that's basically that. Especially in the epilogue there, right at the ending where she says, "I didn't really like drawing manga." To be honest,
that was really like I said, that really got me because like it's sort of like what I think it was a bit how do I say? It's a bit cheating on fucking Fujimoto's side where it's like they do that and she doesn't answer why is important.
Yeah, and so you can imply just from what you've already read, you can just kind of piece together your own interpretation that, oh, she was doing it because Kiyomoto was really inspired by her, and she was also in turn inspired by her as well, and that was the reason why she continued.
Yeah,
The whole
exactly.
time, yeah.
I really like that. How do I say? It was very bittersweet, I guess. How do I say? I can't really describe it. It's just like it was super bittersweet seeing that, because you see like what the whole time she sort of plays this like really cold, annoying, not really annoying, but like she's sort of mean.
Aloof.
She's sort of not really mean, and I don't know how to say. She's a bit bratty. I don't really know. Is that the correct word?
Distanced, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. She's kind of like
She keeps.
not possessive. She's kind of domineering, I guess. I don't really know.
Yeah, I think aloof is probably the best way.
Aloof,
Just
yeah.
like not forthcoming in her.
She's
in
never
her,
really made it clear how important she is. I mean, we don't really know though, because like maybe she said that before. But from the interaction you do see in the manga, she doesn't really make it clear that like how important she is. It does feel like, I think you were mentioning constantly. I think you talked about it earlier, where like it seems like they have like a sort of like parent-child relationship. She's leading him around.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? It does feel like that. She's sort of like the handler, and I did think like I did sort of grasp this sort of feeling. Oh, is she just like keeping her along because she can draw? You know?
Yeah,
I sort of got
that's what you
that.
think in the back of your mind. But then that kind of gets like washed away when you see at the end how much Kiyomoto meant to her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like yeah. Because you see like it's sort of contrasted where it's like she wants to continue doing the manga and Kiyomoto wants to go to school. And
Yeah, and she was like,
so you start thinking like,
why
wow,
would you
this
do
manga is
that?
so important to her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you see that what happens after that. It's like oh okay, no, not really. It was the times they spent making up, leading up to it. I guess that's also the look back thing. I guess I don't really know.
Yeah,
The whole journey.
yeah,
thing.
definitely.
Yeah, it's like what it all comes back together. It's really nice to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it all ties in. It's a very complete.
Okay, no, this is nothing. Never mind. Don't think about it.
What?
No, I was thinking
Yeah,
like
hype. Yeah, hype.
it's called
but
Look
what?
Back, and there's a lot of like back shots, I guess, and as well like
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
it's a bit dumb like that. And the cover as well is like the back,
Mhm.
someone's back, yeah.
Everything behind is what's important, and there's a lot of things that make your you can imagine other like scenarios, right? Like she did, where
Yeah.
she kind of like thought about, but in all of those scenarios, all the things that she had before, like all those moments she was with Kiyomoto drawing manga and all those things never happened in that parallel life that she thought up.
Yeah.
So she missed out on all those things because she was just thinking about the how she could have made the tragedy not happen, and so she forgot about the important
I
stuff.
see.
So it's like,
Yeah. I see.
and it's yeah. So, but yeah, it's a very complete story. I think.
Yeah,
It's
I think it rounded out really well. I really do like these kind of one shots though. They're really, really nice. I think they're a big testament to like the mangaka. It's nice to see the mangaka just drawing a one-off story that's not like what
serialized.
Yeah, it's not serialized. It's complete. Like you said, it's very complete, and also I think it's a sort of they're not writing for an audience, I guess. It's just a story they thought was good.
Expressing themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they tend to be more like raw than. I don't like saying the word raw. They seem to be much more There's more. I say soul. Is that a buzzword now? There's more. It seems to be more weight, in my opinion, to these kind of stories than there are to like compared to like Chainsaw Man. To be honest.
Yeah, there's definitely some weight to this, but I mean, like Chainsaw Man as a whole is pretty.
There is a lot. I mean, there's a lot of Chainsaw Man as well. Like I did feel a lot for the whole like Aki arc and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's
But, like,
individual arcs
yeah.
that you can feel more for than others.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it's definitely interesting when it comes to something like what it's just. This is like, admittedly, it's like what stuff like Chainsaw Man is a bit more unrelatable because stuff's very crazy, right? It's a bit exaggerated, but this is like this is like normalcy. This is like something that happens every day, and like it's like a nice, not really nice, but it's a sort of there is the vehicle of using normal life to relate it to people, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's introspective in his own creation process, I think, or in the process of creation. Yeah, there's other manga that talk about manga creation, like Bakuman or Rin, or even Asano did one called Downfall. That was pretty depressing.
Oh,
but,
was that? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a couple other ones that are also good as well, but I feel like this one, just because it was so short and concise, I feel like it hit it hit the hardest.
It makes sense.
Hard. Yeah. Those ones also kind of, I mean, Bakuman's kind of romanticized a bit. It's like it's not really
super realistic. It's sort of like an adventure thing. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good. Bakuman's good. Don't even get me wrong, but like,
Bakuman
it's like good. It's a little I feel like a little more glorified, maybe. I don't know.
It definitely is. It definitely is. I do think it's a bit more romanticized. It sort of shows like I don't know if it's a good way to say it.
Yeah, it's hard to really describe it, but they do have the nitty-gritty parts where they show like the realities of manga and how cutthroat
they sort of show it as sort of like, oh, this is a hot-blooded, not really hot-blooded battle, but this is a sort of like a battle like wits of like, not really wit. How do I say this? It's two like souls clashing basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is not always the case, you know. You're basically thrown into like a blender of maybe like 20, 30, 50, 100, how many other mangaka.
Yeah, and you have to succeed. It's kind of rough.
It's not as simple as like, you know, you have an opponent, right? You know, there's so many other factors.
Yeah, there's so many factors. Readership, those surveys you're mentioning. All these other things have to come into play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, going back to it again, I think it's not. I think we talked about earlier. It's nice to see Tatsuki sort of doing this like this non-crazy story. I think like what? I think maybe I just prefer these kind of stupid stories. I don't really know. Like I think I'd definitely like to see another story like this again. Chainsaw Man, while it did have its sad points, I don't feel like overall it was like a very sort of like touching story.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know yet. There's still more. There's still more.
Yeah, there's still part 2 to come in. Yeah, I think there were some moments that were.
I mean, we can talk about spoilers, I guess. There is that sort of dichotomy between Denji and Neo Makima.
Neo Makima.
Do you know what I mean? How she's like so Denji also sort of starved of affection and sort of kindness, you know, right? But Cheetah to like care for him.
Yeah, and all his entire basically his entire existence was being manipulated.
Yeah. And it's sort of like it's sort of the opposite from Makima, where like everyone around her is manipulated and she just wants someone to like look at her as an equal.
Yeah, pretty much. But she didn't truly feel like anyone was really her equal.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of her like being the control devil, right? Yeah, she couldn't really do that. So it was just like, it was pretty interesting. Yeah, I wonder where it's gonna go. Especially, I mean, Chainsaw Man. I wonder where it's gonna go, because there's the ending. You have that new Makima kid.
Oh yeah, Neo Makima. Is she actually called Nayuta, or is that just like the
I think.
Oh, they actually bring that character in.
I think. I mean, it's not the same character, but she has the same name. It's like a spiritual kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like in Saint Seiya, they bring Shun in every manga the author does.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's like I think that's our final thought. I wrapped it up nicely.
Pretty much. Yeah, I think
any announcements or like what?
I'll show myself. You can check out my YouTube channel. Subscribe. We play games. The moment I do some drawing streams of maybe once a week or once every other week or something like that. I'm working on my schedule right now. I'm still getting used to my new schedule right now. But yeah, so if you want to see some cool art being drawn, cool in my opinion, cool art. Yeah, and some Paimon appreciation. And some video games being streamed. Come on, check out Garou Nebula channel YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter. Yeah. Oh, I'm streaming tomorrow. I'm gonna start Bravely Default 2.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's go.
good.
Check it out. His links, Mr. Garou Nebula's links are in the description, so please do check him out. Okay, please do check him out.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Did you enjoy yourself today? What do you think of this? You think I
Yeah, it was
learned more stuff?
it was a lot of fun. Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me to talk about this manga.
Oh no, I think like what I invite. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming. I invited you because I think you had the most not really most introspective. I guess like I think you. I know like having interest in that manga, you'd have probably researched it before, not for the stream.
Oh, yeah. We didn't really talk about one other thing, but we can. That was just speculation, anyways.
Well, I mean,
I guess we can just gloss it over. Yeah, we just bring it up. The day this manga one shot was released was on the anniversary of the tragedy that happened to Kyoto Animation. That arson attack. It was July 8th, 2019, I believe, and this one came out July 18th. July 18th, 2019, and then this one came out on July 18th. So a lot of people were speculating that perhaps this was a tribute.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
The man who went into the school, he was like, oh, you stole my art, right? Kind of thing. That's why he wanted to kill her. Yeah.
Basically, it was one for one identical kind of motive for the guy doing the thing.
He said basically he said like he thought we actually don't really know, maybe there's something about that. He said like he thought his art was stolen, art he uploaded on the net was stolen, and so he went to kill him.
Yeah, he said that KyoAni plagiarized him or something.
Yeah, but I think they made it and he should like Kyomoto. I see. Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just the senseless violence at taking something away from you. It's pretty much, I guess, maybe how he felt. Maybe he had friends at Kyoto. I know he was a big fan of Haruhi, Tatsuki Fujimoto. Big fan of Haruhi, so he was a fan of the studio. But yeah, I'm not gonna put words in people's mouth, but like that was a big theory that was going around. Yeah, that was a
I might have seen something about it on like Japanese Twitter as well, to be honest, actually. So you might people might have thought the same thing as well. But yeah, that's interesting to think about. One more thing as well, I guess we'll do it and then we can end off, is that there is no sort of confirmation that like did she actually, there's no denying that she did, like what, did she actually steal art, you know what I mean? Or like is that guy just crazy, just went in there, right? You know what I mean?
I think there wasn't any I think that guy was just
crazy.
He had a mental illness. Fair. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think they changed some parts of this manga in the volume version to not portray some of the similarities between those two events. So
I get. Yeah,
I think they changed. They made a couple. I think the way they explained what the guy was doing, they changed maybe some of his words up because they didn't want to like promote some discriminatory kind of language towards people with mental illnesses
fair,
or disorders. And so I feel like I read an article Fujimoto look back, it gets changed post here on article here, you can check it out. In chat. I should probably put it in chat.
Yeah, probably should put it in chat so everyone can see it. That's interesting. Okay, I see. Oh, that's I'm thinking kind of based.
Yeah, there you go.
Interesting.
Doesn't really matter if some art was stolen. Yeah, what the guy had said was he was like, oh, I published my novel online and the Kyoto Animation plagiarized me, and then he like set the building on fire, which was a pretty messed up thing to do. Horrible thing to do. Terrible. Yeah, he was having a paranoid episode or something.
I see. Okay, they did change it then, because in my volume he's saying like, oh, you're looking down on me, stuff like that.
It was different on release is all I was saying. It was like a little bit more different. I don't know if that really changes very much, but yeah, I don't know if that changes very much between the volume version.
They did say that there is a line there that says like the intentions of killing the first person laid eyes on. Okay, I see. Yeah, okay, it makes sense. Interesting.
So yeah, that's some interesting
Yeah,
bits
that's
about.
it.
Yeah,
I guess that's the fucking like ended it on like a weird like middle ground kind of thing. Okay, that's it. Please check out Mr. Garou Nebula, my good friend.
Thank you for
His
showing
links
up,
are
guys.
in the description. Okay, if you enjoyed today's stream, drop a little like or subscribe or comment. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we'll do man-to-man if like I think I'll do man-to-man if a collab thing from now on. I'm not sure. Maybe by myself. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Yeah, you should get some people to talk to manga.
It'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting.
I'm sure it'll be cool
Good
to see different perspectives.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Anyway, thanks for coming. Are you
You
streaming
guys-
today or anytime later?
I might play a little Genshin later on
Ooh,
Twitch.
A little gorilla. Okay. Anyway, thanks for
Yeah.
coming, man. Thanks for being here, Mr. Garou.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
What's your little thing? What's your thing? Otsugaro?
Otsugaro.
Otsugaro. All right, everyone. So today we're going with the Otsugaro's vibe, okay? So, all right, Otsugaro, everyone. And until we meet again,
Otsugaro, bye bye.
it's bye bye.